Let's find our way into a comfortable kneeling position and allow ourselves a moment to take a few full vessel breaths and fully arrive here in the body, on the mat, right now. As you feel ready, we're going to work our way through tabletop, finding a nice square position with our body, and maybe inviting a few wiggles as we root our toes and bring our hips back into our first downward facing dog of the practice. And take a few deep breaths here as we begin with full force today. And at your own pace, rock forward, loosing your right foot, extending into three-legged dog. Take the right knee to your right elbow, finding that core compression, and extend once more into three-legged dog. Right knee to your nose, keeping that core tight, and back into three-legged dog. And again, your right knee to your left elbow, and back into three-legged dog. Find rest in plank, push back through downward facing dog, and loose the left foot. Finding three-legged dog on our other side. Repeating the sequence with our left knee to our left elbow, back into three-legged dog, left knee to your nose, back into three-legged dog, and taking our left knee to our right elbow for that twist. And when you're ready, back into downward facing dog. Rock forward into plank, and root through your left and rise into side plank, really engaging those obliques to keep that core strong. And at your own pace, allow that hand to meet the mat and float it through downward facing dog as we shift into side plank on the opposite side, allowing that weight to come into our right palm and bring the left upward. Keep breathing, keep that core tight. And when you're ready, back into downward facing dog. Rock forward, loosing your right foot, extending back into three-legged dog. Right knee to right elbow, keeping that compression, but this time we're going to shift into that left palm, going into our side plank. Core is strong. And allow those hips to descend and that foot to get closer to the earth into Skandasana. Push it back up, allowing the opposite hand to meet the mat, lifting the left into the opposite side plank, and exit back through our three-legged downward dog. Come into plank, push back into downward dog, and repeat the sequence on the opposite side, loosing the left, bringing that left knee to our left elbow. And as you feel ready, shifting the weight into our right palm and coming into side plank, rooting through the right. And we're going to shift it through the other side, rooting our left palm into the earth, allowing the weight to come off that right, rooting in side plank through our left body now. And exit back through downward facing dog when you're ready. And when you're ready, rock it forward into plank, moving backward through downward facing dog, loosing the right. And we repeat our compressions, right knee to right elbow, back in three-legged dog, right knee to your nose, back into three-legged dog, right knee to your left elbow, and back into three-legged dog. Descend through chaturanga and push into up dog, finding the spine long, rooting through the toes. Push back into down dog. And let's repeat the sequence on the opposite side, loosing the left leg into three-legged on the opposite side. Left knee to left elbow, core is tight. Back into downward dog. Left knee to our nose. And back into our three-legged dog. Left knee to right elbow, finding that twist, and push it back through three-legged dog. Descend through chaturanga and rise into up dog or cobra, rooting through the toes. Back into downward facing dog. Breathe here. Push back into our three-legged dog, loosing the right leg. Shift the weight onto your left palm, finding side plank once more. Find stability before you descend your hips to the ground, resting on the earth into Skandasana, allowing the open of that side body. We're going to exit through downward facing dog, allowing our right palm to meet the earth and our right knee to sweep under us into side plank on the opposite side, rooting through the right. Back through down dog as you're ready to repeat on the opposite side. Rock forward into plank, loosing the left foot. Begin to shift your weight into your right palm to find side plank. Find stability in your core before descending your hips towards the earth to find your way into Skandasana. As we prepare to exit Skandasana, push strongly with your right palm and sweep it through downward facing dog, allowing that left knee to sweep under you into side plank on the opposite side. Exit through three-legged dog. And descend through chaturanga, inhale through up dog or cobra, plant the toes and prepare for downward facing dog. Take a moment to breathe here in this downward facing dog. Really consciously pushing with the palms and stretching that posterior body. And loose that right foot once more, finding our way into three-legged dog and really keeping that core tight as we bring that right knee into our nose. And exhale it back through downward facing dog when you're ready. Rocking forward through plank and pushing it back into downward dog before repeating on the opposite side, loosing our left leg, finding three-legged dog, and keeping that core tight as we bring that left knee to our nose, really feeling those abdominals before we exit back in three-legged dog. And let's root it back through plank, bringing it back through down dog, bending those knees and bringing them to the earth, and allowing ourselves to find our way into a seated position. And at your own pace, we're going to work our way down to our elbows, really paying attention to keeping our elbows below our shoulders and feeling that rooting sensation from the ground up, specifically in our forearms. And from the position from where we have our elbows rooted, let's rise back into tabletop and float it back through downward facing dog. And allow your elbows to descend to meet the mat and find your way into dolphin pose. This can be slightly more intense just by bending those elbows. If you're comfortable here and maybe want to play with a bit more, maybe try pushing off with your toes and finding your hips slightly more over your heart space and your rooting point of your elbows. Or maybe you want to intensify a bit more and you play with tiptoeing further in and out, really feeling the balance shift into your forearms as you tiptoe closer and shifting back out. When you're ready to exit dolphin, bring your knees to the earth and rise to your elbows back into tabletop. Take a moment to root here, finding the knees hip width apart, hands below the shoulders, finding the spine in neutral. And when you're ready, extend the left palm towards the sky and let it find its way underneath you, allowing your left shoulder to meet the earth into this grounding twist. Knees are rooted. Try to keep your hips even. And when you find yourself ready to exit this twist, root through your right palm, extending the left back towards the sky, and plant it to the earth back through tabletop. At your own pace, repeat on the opposite side, right palm towards the sky, and allow it to thread underneath you, right shoulder towards the earth. Taking a few deep breaths here, allowing the twist to cleanse your core. To exit, root through the left palm, extending the right back towards the sky. And allow yourself to root through tabletop and maybe do a couple of cat cows if you're feeling it. Pushing into that Halloween kitty cat, inhaling through that cow, allowing the sternum to really rotate through our arms. And again, left hand towards the sky and thread the needle, allowing that shoulder to meet the earth. Maybe breathing a little deeper into the twist this time. Maybe extending that rooting palm towards the sky. And when you're ready to unthread, root your right palm into the earth and allow that left to extend towards the sky before meeting the earth and rotating. Right palm to sky and allow the right arm to thread underneath you. Once more into the twist, rooting that right shoulder. And maybe you lift that left hand, keeping that arm active. And when you're ready, root that left palm back into the earth, allowing us to unthread. At this time, let's take a seat back. And rooting right here, we're going to do some seated cat and cow, allowing our palms to root off our knees. Finding an inhale into cow and a push into cat. And repeat a few with your own breath cycle. Feeling the open of the heart space, anterior and posterior body. And let us find our way back into a tabletop position, rooting our toes, shifting back into downward facing dog. Really tuning into the body and harnessing the inner strength that we've accumulated here. And let's loose our right leg, coming back into three-legged dog. And again, right knee to right elbow. Back into three-legged dog. Right knee to nose. And push into three-legged dog. And right knee to our left elbow, but this time we're going to raise our left hand into a side plank and allow our right knee to rest into a half camel pose. Heart is open, legs are strong, and as you're ready to exit, root through the right palm, sweeping the left back around through that lateral side body and rooting through downward facing dog back into plank. Right palm is strong as we raise the left into the opposite body. And as you're ready to exit, push it through downward facing dog. And let's repeat on the opposite side. Loose that left leg back into three-legged dog. Left knee to left elbow. Back into three-legged dog. Left knee to your nose. Keep that core tight. Exit through three-legged dog. And when you're ready, take that left knee to your right elbow. And this time, allow the weight to shift into your left palm and loose that right towards the sky into side plank. Knee meets the earth. Half Ustrasana, open that heart. Breathe here. And to exit, root that left palm into the earth as that right palm sweeps back into the lateral side body, evening us out. Pushing with that left, rotating that right down, back into downward facing dog. Rock it forward through plank, loosing that right leg, back into three-legged dog. Right knee to our right arm. This time we're going to hold and breathe, keeping that core in compression, keeping that squeeze before pushing back into our three-legged dog. Right knee to your nose. Core is strong. Arms are strong. Back into three-legged dog. Right knee to your left arm. Exit back into three-legged dog, this time keeping that length, maybe inviting that foot to come a little closer to our head, opening up those abdominals that we keep so engaged. And exit back through three-legged dog, rock it into plank, back into three-legged dog, loosing our left foot. Let's find our way into three-legged dog on the opposite side. Repeating the sequence, left knee to left elbow. Core is tight. Breathe. And exit back into three-legged dog. Left knee. Meet your nose. Abdominals are tight. Keep them strong. Back into three-legged dog. And one more time. Left knee to right arm. Twist is tight. Push it back into three-legged dog. And this time, allow yourself to open and maybe bring that foot a little closer to your head. And exit through downward facing dog. And maybe you do a little spinal wave forward before allowing our knees to meet the earth. Hips may sit all the way back. Forehead may meet the earth. And I like to take my palms and bring them back by my hips and really allow my scapula to open up across my posterior heart space. And sometimes I like to rock my forehead into the mat from left to right, really massaging that third eye center. And feel the support available to you right here. And to exit this posture, I'm going to bring my arms forward, allowing my forearms to meet the mat. And as I begin to raise my head up off the mat, I'm going to allow my elbows to really root and support my body, finding engagement once more in my upper body, arms, coming into my dolphin pose, back on my feet. And if you like to up the intensity a bit, we can take a few steps forward, finding ourselves slightly more inverted here, and our hips slightly more above our chest. And if you'd like to find extension in your right leg, meet it towards the sky, still rooting through your elbows. Legs are strong, core is strong. And maybe you play with it on the opposite side, extending that left leg towards the sky, rooting through the elbows, keeping those legs strong, maybe honing in to which side is more dominant for you to find balance. And to find our way from dolphin pose, we're going to allow our knees to root into the mat and float through Sphinx before being seated and supporting ourselves into an upright position. And with the pace of your breath, we're going to inhale into a seated volcano, arms open wide, tall, reaching towards the sky. Exhale to the right. Taking a subtle twist here in the side body and a few sips of breath for the cleanse. And with your breath, inhale center, exhale back in a neutral pose. Inhaling your arms tall, exhaling to the left on the opposite side. And take a few more sips of air here. And at your own pace, inhale back through center, allowing those arms to reach to the sky. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. And this time, inhale, neutral. Exhale, fold, allowing your forehead to meet with the earth, docking that third eye. Allow those hands to meet the feet, really allowing that posterior heart space to find a moment of rest, relaxation, and support. Feel the rootedness here. Root through the shins as we rise into a seated position. Engage the core. Allow your hands to meet your feet and/or a block. Gaze may go back as you bring your hips forward into Ustrasana. Welcome to camel pose. Breathe here in this deep heart space. If you feel comfortable to let your head lean back, it will be fully supported by your neck. If not, upright is just perfect too. To exit, bring the hips down and be seated, allowing the spine to find neutral. Allow the chin to root through the mat and bring the arms forward, opening up the shoulders and the anterior heart space. and breathe here. And as you're ready to exit, root through the shins and the knees to rise into a seated position. Root through the sit bones and find extension with your left leg. Take elevation in the hips if you need. If the body is comfortable here, perhaps invite a subtle forward fold. Hands may be on your shins, on the earth, on your foot, wherever you feel most comfortable. And breathe here. Find extension with your right foot as we prepare for the opposite side. Bring the left foot back by your hip. If the body is still good here, perhaps we invite a deeper fold, finding our way to our shin, our foot, the earth. Anywhere is perfect. And inhale back into an upright position whenever you're ready. Take a moment to check in with yourself, check in with your body as we near the end of our practice. We finish up with a little bit of abs. So find your way into a seated position, cross-legged, legs ahead of you, and take a few deep, rejuvenating breaths before we finish up with a bit of Navasana play. So I'm going to extend my legs forward because it will help me to shift the weight back. And I'm going to shift my weight back to allow my feet to lift, first finding a tight compression of a ball and maybe finding extension outward with my arms and feet. And breathing here to find a steadiness, balancing on my sit bones. And as we prepare to exit, we're going to resist our legs as they meet the earth, rising in Dandasana, the seated staff pose. And breathe here for a moment before we repeat the sequence. And prepare to shift our weight subtly back, taking a subtle bend in the knees to help find that compression as we float, before maybe extending a bit into a slightly bigger boat. Feel that core as you support yourself here. And when you're ready to rest, resist your legs back down into Dandasana once more, allowing the spine to come up into a neutral, tall position. And breathe here. The next time we shift our weight back into our little compression ball, we're going to hold it tight. Instead of finding expansion, we're going to find a twist. Keeping our sense of balance, allowing our elbows to track left and right across our knees. Core is strong, chest is upright. Maybe you play with extending your arms, or maybe you like to keep them tucked. Check in. And find resistance in Dandasana when you need to exit. Allow your palms to meet the earth beside your hips. Keep your legs strong and engaged into the mat. Feet are in flexion, spine is long. Breathe here and know this is among the most difficult postures. And take just a few more breaths here before we work our way into our final resting pose. at your own pace. Adjust yourself for Shavasana, maybe scooting up or down on the mat, extending the feet to find the spine long. Allow both hands to reach toward the sky, allowing the scapula to lift fully off the mat, and let your elbows rest where gravity pulls them. Notice how this is much wider than the space we generally give ourselves. Welcome to Shavasana, our final resting pose. You may remain here as long as you wish. Bring your presence into the breath and allow yourself to fully feel the support of the earth as you rest. Namaste.